name is Frank. Okay, I've been the teacher of these guys for the last 2 weeks, and they've been reading the book, The Odyssey. If you don't know, The Odyssey is a little bit of a difficult book because there's a lot of action, a lot of things that happen. There's also a lot of history that you need to understand to really understand the book. So today for their presentations, the kids will tell us a little bit about the historical background of ancient Greece and Greek gods. They'll also tell us, Yejun will tell us about the characters and the settings in the book that he liked. So Danwoo, history, Yejun, character settings, and Gunhu will tell us about the summary of the book as well as a little bit about what epic heroes are. Okay? So to start, Danwoo, are you ready?
Hello everyone, my name is Dan. Today I will tell you about the history behind the Odysseus, storytellers, and the god. Before we start, let's check how much background knowledge everyone has about history, storytellers, and the god. The first question is, how old do you think this book is?
2,800 years old.
Yes, that's correct. It was written in 750 BCE, and the writer's name was Henry. The second question is, do you know how many gods there were in ancient Greece?
Okay, there are more than 3,000 gods.
Yeah, that is also correct.
Okay, then it's slow.
Also, our modern culture is influenced by Greek culture. Look around you and you will see examples in our architecture, fashion brands, and movies. Interestingly, they believed some of gods were strong and some of gods were not. Let's talk about history, storytellers, and the god. Before we go deeper, does everyone know the Dark Age of Greece? The Dark Age was when countries fought and were started again and again, and people forgot how to read and write. Still, a few people could read and write, but the rest of them didn't know or were bad at reading and writing. So now, we don't have much information or resources about the Dark Age. Greek life during the Dark Age was very simple and hard. Most people lived in a small countryside villages, spending their days farming and small pieces of land, carving sheep and goats, and defending their home from ravagers. Also in ancient Greece, there were people called storytellers. I will explain who they were and why they were important. The storytellers were people who told different stories, moving from city to cities. The storytellers were important because they told many stories about what was going on in other cities. Also, when the storytellers were telling stories, they were sometimes given food or place to sleep for compensation. In addition, depending on where they told the story would be a little different. For example, if they told a story about Zeus to the rich who liked Zeus, the storytellers changed the story to make Zeus more like the main part of the story. So the storytellers told stories in ancient Greece. Also, do you wonder why we can still hear these old stories? We can thank the storytellers for this. Because they told the stories to other people, and they passed the stories to their families, these stories survive. Ancient gods. There are many gods in ancient Greece. The first generation was Gaia and Uranus. So it is a picture of Gaia and it is a picture of Uranus. They married and gave birth to all the other titans. Titans are similar to giants. They also gave birth to a third generation. They are Zeus, Poseidon, extra, but they can't stop. Later, they kill the titans. They climb a mountain called Olympus. Olympus is an important part of the Odyssey. There are 5 gods in the story. Zeus. Zeus is the king of the gods, and he is the most powerful. He controls the sky, storms, and universal rules. He has a weapon that can call the thunderbolt. Poseidon. Poseidon is Polyphemus' father and Zeus' brother. He can control the dangerous deep oceans, heavy sea storms, and he has a special weapon that called the trident, which is similar to the devil's weapon. Athena. Athena is Zeus' daughter, and she is very clever. She has wisdom, mercy, and mental strength. She always wears a helmet and carries a spear. Hermes. travel from the ground to the underworld. Zeus gave him winged sandals to fly around, deliver secret items and messages to humans. He is the god of speed, traveling, and holy message. Helios. He has the power of the sun, daylight, and spirit castle. Do you know a story about Helios and his son? One day, Helios' son told his friend that he was Helios' son. But his friend didn't believe him. So he rode Helios' chariot and wanted to show his friend. But he fell down and died. It is a very sad. Senior. In ancient Greece, there was a very, very important rule called senior. It means for guests, we must show hospitality. For example, we must give food to our guests. If we break the rule of senior, the gods will be very angry and maybe we can get punished. Conclusion. Isn't ancient Greece history interesting? I think so. To sum up, one thing that really surprised me and I want to share with you is how surprised I was when I learned about the storytellers during that time. It was a very different life. This sounds like a very easy job to tell stories all day, but it wasn't, because they need to walk from cities to cities. In addition, they always need to memorize the stories and adapt them. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Great job, Daimu. Next up, Yejun, will you come up? He's going to tell us about characters and settings.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yeji. Today, I'm going to talk about characters, monsters, and settings in Odyssey. I really wanted to talk about this part because I really like these characters in this book because they're all brave and smart. I also really like the scary and thrilling places in this book. Before I read this book, I heard about Zeus, Poseidon, and Odysseus. After I read this book, I learned more about magical and greedy creatures. Besides, I thought Poseidon was kind and generous, but after I read this book, Poseidon was actually dangerous and angry. Let me test your knowledge. A lot of this story takes place on either islands of ships. Why is that so?
Because there are more than 6,000 islands around Greece in the Mediterranean Sea.
Yeah, it is correct. Correct. There are 6,000 islands around Greece in the Mediterranean Sea. Now, I'm going to tell you all of the main characters and important characters. First, the main character is Odysseus. Odysseus is an epic hero. He is really brave, but if he sees treasure, he attacks. He's sneaky, but also has strong leadership skills. Secondly, Penelope. Penelope is a kind woman who is the wife of Odysseus. When Odysseus didn't return back, she had to face with many suitors. Then she told her suitors that when she finishes her tapestry, then she would choose who to marry. She wove it every day and unraveled it every night. Athena, the goddess of wisdom, also has an important role in Odyssey. She helped Odysseus turn safely into a pilgrim, Mr. Zeus to help him. Her father Zeus is the king of the gods, and he agreed to help him. Zeus once threw an electric bolt to the ship and killed everyone except Odysseus. Poseidon, the god of the sea, was really mad at Odysseus because he blinded his son. Circe was a mean villain who turned half of his crew into pigs. Odysseus had to fight with this unbeatable woman. Luckily, the messenger god Hermes gave him a holy herb, which defended him from Circe's sorcery. Lastly, Aeolus. He's a kind and generous man. He is half god and half human. He gave Odysseus a leather bag, which contained bad winds and storms that won't help Odysseus' journey. But luckily, one of his soldiers thought there were treasures in the leather bag. He opened it and they were drifted away from Ithaca and returned back to Aeolian Island. Aeolus kicked Odysseus out and told him he won't help him anymore. Now I'm going to explain the monsters and important settings in this book. The first monster appearing in the book is one-eyed Cyclops, Polyphemus. His relationship to Odysseus is bad. Polyphemus, the son of Poseidon, blocked Odysseus and his crew with a large boulder. But Odysseus wasn't done. He commanded his crew to get the last of their wine and give it to Polyphemus. As a leader, he gave it to Polyphemus, and he was so happy about the wine that he promised Odysseus to eat last. After Polyphemus was asleep, he ordered his crew members to sharpen the club and harden it by fire. In the morning, the crew blinded him by poking hard in his eyes. Now he was blind. He clung to the ship's belly and escaped. In addition, Odysseus used his fake name, Nomad, and tricked other Cyclops too. Then Polyphemus realized that his name was Odysseus, and he bellowed to his father Poseidon to curse him. Poseidon was really mad and woke two deadly creatures, Veritas and Scylla. Scylla was an unbeatable monster that has 6 long necks. She devoured 6 sailors in this storm. Next was Charybdis. We are not sure what it looks like, but it lives underwater. She sucks sea and makes a whirlpool. They live near each other, so the crew had to be really careful.
And this is the picture of the whirlpool.
Odysseus and his crew visited many places, but there were many important islands that they visited. The Cannibals Island was also important. The cannibals devoured Odysseus' crew and threw huge rocks at them that some of their ships sank deep underwater. They also went to an island called Aeolian Island, ate a fish, found treasures, and the Aeolian Island's king Aeolus gave the leather bag which contained bad winds. Isramos is also an important place, as it was the first island that Odysseus went to, and Odysseus had to fight with Ciconians and lost many soldiers. Lotus Eater's Island was also very dangerous. Natives told people to join their fists, but if they ate their lotuses, their eyes would get dreamy and dim. To conclude, this book is full of interesting people, monsters, gods, and settings. My favorite character was Penelope because she is really smart by using her tapestry trick. In addition, I also really like Athena because she was one who really helped Odysseus when he was in trouble. My favorite monster was Scylla because she is really cool, scary, and monstrous. My favorite setting was Ithaca because Odysseus, Penelope, and Telemachus met all together and have a renewing again. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Good. And last but not least, Gunvu, you tell us about epic heroes and a summary of the story.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Olga. I will talk about what is an epic hero is and the story. Everybody has heard of heroes and superheroes. When I think about a hero, they're brave, clever, loyal, and strong. For example, when superheroes see a person in danger, they help right away. But in this story, there are no superheroes or heroes. There are only epic heroes. Let me tell you about epic heroes Odysseus. Odysseus is the main character in the Odyssey. Odysseus is smart. He gets out even in hard situations, and he is the perfect example of an epic hero. Epic heroes are not the same as modern heroes. They are sometimes cruel, lawless, even savage, and greedy. For example, epic heroes steal spoils, they hurt or kill people often. They put people in danger, but epic heroes also have positive influence. They help people in danger sometimes. Epic heroes are motivated by new things, treasures, lands, magical objects, and weapons. I mostly like the sneakiness and the strength about epic heroes. Now I will give you a short summary of this exciting story. At the beginning, Odysseus was the hero of the Trojan War who for the next 10 years would struggle to return home. Odysseus and his soldiers sailed to Ismaros. They went to the Ismaros because they wanted the spoils from them. They successfully attacked the Ciconians and took spoils from them. After Odysseus and his soldiers attacked the Ciconians, the soldiers were happy about the spoils that they stole. The soldiers did not obey the instruction of Odysseus and enjoy the spoils, but they were attacked by the neighbors of Ciconians. Many soldiers died during the attack. After the attack from the neighbors of Ciconians, they arrived at the Odysseus island. Odysseus commanded strong soldiers to explore the island. Odysseus told the soldiers not to eat anything on the island, but the soldiers didn't obey. The lotus eater showed the lotus and the soldiers ate it. It made the soldiers sleepy, but they recovered after being rescued. Later, they went to the island with the giant Polyphemus, Poseidon's son. They were trapped, but they managed to escape in the cave. While Polyphemus was sleeping, they were prepared for the attack. They made a fire and put the club inside. Odysseus took the burnt club and poked Polyphemus' eye. Then the boulder was pushed aside and his crew and sheep escaped. After everyone escaped, Polyphemus called his friend, but everyone thought he was crazy because Polyphemus kept saying, "Where's Snowman?" After Odysseus and his crew escaped the cave, they sailed to the Aeolian island. They met King Aeolus, the king of the winds, and he gifted the bad winds that would not help Odysseus sail in a leather bag. This helped Odysseus' boat sail more quickly. He almost arrived in Ithaca when a crew member opened the bag and their boat suddenly returned to the Aeolian island. When Odysseus woke up, he noticed the boat had to return again. Aeolus saw the boat return and said he would not help again. While sailing back to Ithaca, they crossed the river of the Laestrygonians island. They got attacked by natives with stones. Many ships were sunk. After this terrible things happened to Odysseus. He lost all his crewmates. He was suddenly alone. He landed on an island and the people there gifted luxurious garments, gold, bronze tripod, and cauldrons to Odysseus. This is the example of the people they're gifted to Odysseus. This is garment, this is gold, and this is tripod, and this is cauldrons. Suitors invaded the palace of Penelope. Suitors wanted to marry with Penelope. When evil suitors kept feasting on the food and asking Penelope to marry her, Penelope thought of a smart idea. She said that when she finished weaving a burial shroud for the Laertes, she will marry a suitor. She kept weaving the shroud and unraveling at night. After 3 years, Penelope's workers said Penelope was tricking the suitors. Telemachus went to the gods to get information about his dad Odysseus. Athena helped Telemachus to leave the kingdom. Telemachus and his father returned to the palace, and in an action-packed conclusion, Odysseus wins an archery competition and kills all the suitors. Then his wife realized her husband was returned, and after 20 years, the family is finally reunited. Let me tell you about my favorite story. My favorite part of the story was when Odysseus was fighting with the suitors of his wife because it was the most exciting part of the story. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
I'm gonna make a little comment on this one and then you can pick it up.
Yeah.
이 파트를 아이들이 다